So as soon as I'm done with the Blue Angels Tiger, I will get started on that. All right, I'm about to dig into this kit, and so I've got everything laid out here. Have all my references up on the wall. So basically, you know, this is the plane here, actual references of the plane. And then a few other references. So for instance, this guy actually painting invasion stripes on one. And I put this up here because just to validate it doesn't have any nose art on this side. And then this is an actual photo from the time, you know, with the actual colors. You can see my thumb drive in there. I've got some on the computer. But I bought this kit, I believe, at a contest and show. And when I saw it, it drew my attention because the wheels were up and it was dropping bombs. I have not built a 1-48 airplane in over 30 years. The last time I built a 1-48 was this Marine One helicopter a few years back for the HLI helicopter group build. But before that, it was in the late, probably in the early 90s, when I built these in my apartment. And I think I've mentioned I, you know, actually spray canned them out in the parking lot of my apartment. And then packed them up when I got married and we moved. And so I put them back up. But these are all 1-48. And I thought it would be appropriate to do another World War II airplane in 1-48 with the landing gear up in flight, kind of as you see it here, dropping bombs. And I kind of found the right place for it, I think, right up here. So hanging right here, and this is an intake. This is my air filtration system for my shop, and it blows out the other end. It only sucks on this end, and I've already tried it. It's not too strong or anything. So I think I'm gonna, you know, hang it right here. And what I'll do is, you know, build it with the, like I said, with the landing gear closed. So I went through, as I typically do, went through the instructions and kind of marked everything out, wrote down all the different colors, and then kind of, you know, wherever the landing gear is, you know, I noted I'm going to close the door, so there's certain things I won't have to do. And then the other thing I think I want to try to do is actually have the doors open and a few bombs falling. Maybe I'll hook them up with fishing line or something like that, but actually have it, you know, kind of dropping the bombs. So that's the plan at this point anyway. We'll see where we go. I've also gone out and watched several videos on this, and apparently it is notoriously bad fit. So there's going to be a lot of fit issues. So it's going to be a lot of work anyway. So, you know, if I eliminate all the landing gear, that's just a little bit less work that I'll have to do. So that's the game plan, and I'm going to get into it now. All right, I've got everything cleaned up and kind of separated into logical groups, so to speak. And I went ahead and constructed the fuselage and the wings, just taped everything together. And yeah, it's got quite a bit of fit issues, but actually not as bad as I thought on certain things. For instance, the engine nacelles, I think, fit better than one or two I've seen on a video. Now, this is the dark green plastic version, which I guess was made domestically. There's a gray plastic version, which was made in China, and that plastic is a lot, apparently, softer or whatever, and it doesn't fit as well. Several of those videos that I saw, they super detailed it and things of that nature, because there's a ton of aftermarket kits out for this. I'm going out of the box, with the exception of the masking kit. I ordered that. It's on its way because that's a lot of masking. And as I said, I'm going to go with wheels up and, you know, maybe dropping bombs. So here's all the extra parts for the tires and landing gear and stuff that I'm not going to use. And there's all the empty sprues. And then the other thing I did while I had it put together like this is kind of test fit it in its new place, so to speak. So somewhere up there, it's kind of hard to hold it and the phone at the same time. But yeah, somewhere, you know, hanging from those things, and then maybe with some bombs coming out, where high enough where I won't hit my head on it. So, but that's a ways down the road. I have to say, everything cleaned up pretty well, and for the most part, it fits. It's the big stuff that doesn't fit. You know, there's going to be seams to fill there. But so far, so good. It's kind of a cool kit, and it just seems easier to build at this scale. And everything's more detailed. It's cool. I kind of miss it. So anyway, enjoying this build so far. Everything's cleaning up. Now it's getting into sub-assemblies. All right, another update here. So I have those wings together, and now I'm working on these engine nacelles. So this one's just taped together, but this one is actually done. So to close these doors, I had to cut the attachment points off, you know, where you would model it open. First, I fit the doors to each side, and then brought the two sides together. I have to say, I mean, yeah, when I fit everything together, there were some gaps and stuff, but for the most part, individually, these fit. You know, I've test fit a lot of this stuff together. The smaller sub-assemblies, you know, fit together fairly decently. I mean, that's not that bad. I can clean that up without too much work. And then trying this on here, it's not horrible, to be honest with you. It's hard to do this with one hand, but if, you know, when I was able to kind of push it in there, up here, it's going to need some work. Yeah, I get that. But down here, that's not that bad. I can work with that. So far, so good. So that's kind of like one down. And now I'll start on this other one. Okay, continuing to work on these nacelles. So once I got it all together with the ultra thin, now I'm reinforcing everything with both thin and medium super glue. And where I had some gaps, I'm letting that medium super glue go down into there and even that out, and then I can come back and sand that one up. This one fit better all the way around. This one here, you can see that gap there. So this one has some more work to get to that point. But for the most part, you know, I think it's coming together pretty good. And then I test fit, you know, those fronts on, and those actually fit really well too. So like I said, it's like what I expected. So, but that's going to be a little bit more of a pain, but we'll get it. Okay, I think I have these engine nacelles where I want them. Did quite a bit of cleanup back here. It's all super glue from the inside. I thought I would use sheet styrene, but I ended up just using super glue. And where I had gaps, ever so tiny gaps here, I dropped the super glue from the top, let it dry, sanded it down. Then had to add to it from the top and sand it down. Same thing on this side, but you know, they still look rough. They got to be primed and then probably sanded one more time. But I think I have everything fitting now, and it looks like the doors are closed, and from here it all lines up. So, and these also fit onto here quite well, I have to say. This one needed a little more coaxing and a little bit of sanding, but for the most part they fit well. Now over here is going to require filling, so and then for sure here, if you get the angle correct on the bottom, it's quite a big gap here, and I know that's going to need to be filled. But for the most part, these fit onto the wing themselves pretty well. I believe there's more assembly that has to happen on these. There's two parts that go there that require some filling before that engine goes in there. So probably do that next while I start painting the engines to complete that whole sub-assembly, to get it to where it only needs to be painted from the outside. So until then, thanks for watching and happy modeling.